To Business at 9, I'm Shabani Gharat. Now, Indian team comprising of Commerce Ministry officials, CII, FICCI and APIDA will present India's counter to USTR's proposed 12.5% tariff over Section 301 investigation findings. The USTR hearings relate to the practices of 60 economies around forced labor and concern. These hearings and India's response are significant amid the ongoing trade talks between India and US. So how will the outcome of the hearings impact the ongoing trade negotiations? We discuss that tonight with our special guest. He is Jayant Dasgupta, former ambassador and representative of India at WTO. Mr. Dasgupta, thank you so much, Ambassador, for joining us today on Business at 9. Now, what is the case that, the Indian representatives will present to USTR during the hearing of Section 301 investigations, according to you?
301 proceedings have been initiated against about 60 countries. And it is not about forced labor being used to produce goods in the country and then being exported to the US. The real matter is that countries may be importing. The allegation against all these 60 countries, including the European Union, UK, Australia, Japan, etc., is that they are not banning the import of products into their market which have been produced using forced labor. So the US claim is that its exports to these countries get affected because of the underpriced forced labor products which are coming in from other sources into these countries. Now, this is something which the USTR and in the Section 301 proceedings, the Office of the USTR carries out an investigation and recommends. And then it is upon the USTR to finally impose duties. So the Office of the USTR has recommended a range of 10% to 12.5% duties on products coming from these 60 countries. Now, India will, of course, present its case.
Right.
That it does not allow imported.
Now, Mr. Dasgupta, sorry to interrupt you, Mr. Dasgupta, but, we have the July 22nd deadline staring at us, which is just 2 weeks away, so to speak. So for the India-US trade deal, so how will, the USTR hearing and India's counter to the 12.5% tariff proposal impact the conversations and, this July 22nd deadline that we are looking at?
July 24th deadline for the 10% tariffs which the US has imposed, that runs its life of 150 days. So it will have to get withdrawn. Now, in lieu of that, the US has two 301 proceedings which are proceeding. One of them is the forced labor thing, 60 countries. The other one is about excess capacity. And that is against 16 countries, including China, India, and Japan, and the others. So these will be used as leverage by the US to pressure India into agreeing to 18%, which it had agreed to in February 2026. Before the Supreme Court had struck down the 50% tariff that India was facing. So that is going to take place. And India will try to make its position clear that it can't, be forced into signing an agreement which is unfair and has no reciprocity built into it.
Right.
And
so,
India,
Mr. Dasgupta, Ambassador Dasgupta, the pressure is on because, there is, of course, a deadline approaching. But, the pressure is on both the nation. It's on US, it's on India. Do you think India will, successfully be able to negotiate a country-specific exemption? Because since you rightly mentioned that 60 countries in totality have been named under Section 301 investigations.
I don't think the US will exempt completely. So at best, it would say that, all right, we will impose 10%. In view of the 10% that they were imposing till now for 150 days, till the 24th of July. So that would remain there. And it could be 12.5% as has been recommended by the Office of the USTR. So that is one part. The second part was the pending proceedings for excess capacity, structural excess capacity. Now, again, that would be used as a leverage to force India and other countries to sign an agreement. The European Union, for instance, had agreed to a set of tariffs. And it is saying that it is not very clear as to which way it will go. So there are many other countries in the same boat. And they will all have to face the US unilateral action. Mind you, this Section 301 unilateral tariff has been struck down by a dispute settlement body panel in September 2020 in the case of the US tariffs against China. And the US got away with it because it said that it wanted to appeal, and the appellate body was not functioning. So
Ambassador Dasgupta, from a legal perspective, help us understand, is there a way in which, because CII and many industry bodies are going as a counter to the US 12.5% tariff and, these allegations under Section 301, is there a legal way to prove that, these entire supply chains are free of forced labor that India can, put in as an argument during these hearings?
Put in whatever argument it wants to, but the discretion lies, unfortunately, with the USTR. So he can say heard, rejected, and he can go ahead and impose tariff. That is the bottom line, unfortunately.
Ambassador Dasgupta, thank you so much for joining us today on ET Now and sharing your inputs on the Section 301 hearings, and India is about to counter them this week. Thanks again for joining us on ET Now.